Hello, Four Star Nation, and welcome to a special Saturday, May 1st edition of the Four Star Sports Show. Hope everyone is doing well. Christian Johnson is in house today. Ray McKetta is making his way to New York City. Brandon Bumgarner's down there at the house. Nathan Wilson as well. Gentlemen, how's everybody doing?
5 games under 500 are going.
Pretty good.
All good, Wes.
Good deal. Well, the NFL draft got cranked up this past Thursday night. First round, I thought was very exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about the draft. We're going to get into a little bit of Major League Baseball division races. Those are starting to heat up pretty well right now. We also just want to say thank you to all the support of our fans. We truly appreciate it. This show is nothing without the fans, and we truly appreciate everything that y'all have done for us. So we just want to get that part out of the way at the beginning. NFL draft started Thursday night. Brandon, I'll start with you. Give me your thoughts on first round, maybe some teams that really impressed you.
The Jets really impressed me. They addressed the O-line. They got Zach Wilson, who, I mean, when I went back and looked at his film, the guy's actually really, really good. And people were like, yeah, Zach Wilson, blah, 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 just an average NFL quarterback. I think a good comparison for him right now would be Baker Mayfield. I think that he's going to be a decent quarterback for the Jets. It's just so hard to win in New York. My other winner from Thursday night was definitely Jacksonville, picking up teammates in Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. People were like, well, Urban Meyer just did that because they played together. No, Urban Meyer did that because Travis Etienne's the all-time rushing yard and rushing leader in the ACC, which is unreal. It's a crazy stat. Trevor Lawrence is just, like I said on Wednesday when we did our first-round mock draft, he's the best quarterback talent since Andrew Luck in any NFL draft. So those are my two winners there. As y'all can see, I'm a Broncos fan. I was very pleased with Patrick Surtain Jr., or not Jr., the second, PS2. I really think that the Broncos kind of just drafted the best player available, and that was really fun to see. But my biggest disappointment was the Texans. I really thought the Texans were going to trade up and get a first-round pick just because they needed one. Deshaun Watson's probably not playing this year with all the allegations that are going on and him demanding the trade and everything like that. It's going to be pretty tough for him to even be able to play. But, yeah, it was really disappointing. That and the Packers, when you're in the middle of your franchise quarterback demanding a trade, and you go out there and you're like, oh, we want you to stay, so we're going to draft a cornerback. We're not going to get you any more weapons for the 10th year out of 10 years. It's just ridiculous. So I can't wait for Aaron Rodgers to be wearing the blue and orange for the Denver Broncos, because that's absolutely going to happen. It's almost a done deal at this point. There's reports that he's looking for a house in Boulder, Colorado. It's going to happen. I know some of our listeners are going to be like, this guy's crazy. Well, I'm calling my shot right now. Call me Babe Ruth, because we're getting Aaron Rodgers.
I saw yesterday where the GM said there is no way he's leaving.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, as a Bronco fan, I would be ecstatic to have Aaron Rodgers. But I know that I've seen reports that he's not happy there. I've seen I've seen more negatives as to why he would leave opposed to why he would stay. But if the GM comes flat out and says, the GM of the Packers flat out says that he's going nowhere, then that should hold some weight, right?
You would think it would. I mean, I saw a report or an article last night saying something about he was also considering retirement. I mean, I tend to lean towards what Brandon's thinking. Yeah, that's I'm leaning towards more he's going to go to Denver or somewhere like that. I think Denver is tailor-made for him. They've got weapons on the offensive side of the field. If you look at them on the defensive side of the ball, they're playing really well. Christian, what are your thoughts on round one?
Well, round one was, to me, the most exciting draft round I've ever watched in a long time. I mean, I haven't been one to keep up with the drafts much until the last couple of years. And, man, it was exciting everywhere. You saw big-time quarterbacks all over the place get drafted. You know, Trevor Lawrence to Jacksonville. To me, Mac Jones to New England necessarily wasn't a shock, but I like New England sort of got a steal there. You know, Cam Newton might still be the guy next year, but, you know, if he doesn't play well, I'm sure Belichick will throw Mac Jones in as soon as he can. You know, he did come out and say Mac Jones was has a lot to learn. Now, of course he does. He's a rookie. But Belichick would not have taken Mac Jones if he didn't believe that there's a future with this guy. And that's my I mean, there's a lot of there wasn't a lot of surprises necessarily. You know, Zach Wilson to the Jets. You know, there was a lot of people that were negative towards Zach Wilson, saying he won't make it and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people that are high on this guy. I'm in that middle ground with him. I'm not exactly sure what to think about him. I mean, I know he played really well at BYU, but it was a little shocking to me that the Jets took Wilson when there was still, you know, Justin Fields on the board, even Mac Jones, and then the guy at San Diego State, drawing a blank right now, but I know, yeah. I mean, but yeah, other than that, I mean, pretty good picks all around the board, and I'm actually excited to watch NFL football next year, even though I'm a Cowboys fan and they haven't given me much to cheer about. But as far as, you know, other teams, what they're doing, that's going to be fun to watch next year.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Ray, what were your thoughts from round one?
Well, I was very happy with the Eagles selection. You know, how they got where they got. They started out as the 6th pick, and then they traded down to the 12th pick, and then on the night of the draft, they knew they wanted to get a wide receiver, and that receiver's name was Devontae Smith. So they wanted to make sure that they were able to get him. So when it came down to it, switching from the 12th pick to the 10th pick, we had to trade. Our pick was our arch rival to pick up Devontae Smith, which is a magic work by the GM Howie Roseman. But I do see a team that disappointed me with Houston Texans, because everyone knows about Deshaun Watson's allegations and the fact that he not played this year. So I don't know what to say about that, what the way the Houston Texans picked. But I think either later on, rounds 3 through 7, or sometime next year, or in free agency, they can pick up a quarterback temporarily, and then if the allegations come to pass, then they can find one that's permanent in next year's draft.
They actually picked a quarterback last night in the second round, I believe. Stanford quarterback. I can't think of his name.
Mills.
But and Mel Kiper and Todd McShay were talking about him just coming in to compete, because they do have Tyrod Taylor, I believe. They signed Tyrod, and I think it's the Texans that signed Tyrod. I'm not completely sure, but I think that's what I heard. And they brought him in to compete with whoever the backup was to replace Deshaun Watson. So, yeah, they were just a disappointment in the first round, because I just knew they were going to trade up and take Justin Fields or somebody like that, and they didn't. But and now Bill Belichick gets Mac Jones, and we saw what he did with a 6th-round pick in his entire career. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. I'm just tired of the Patriots.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Patriots got a guy that I believe could keep them relevant. You know, the Patriots aren't used to, you know, dropping down into the lower tier of the NFL. So I think that's what Mac Jones will eventually end up doing. You know, I I hate to write Cam Newton off because you would think he still has a lot of potential, but I just have this feeling that he's not gonna make it at New England, and I don't know why. I guess last year has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not confident that he'll make it. And yeah, when it comes to the Texans, they needed a good quarterback, and why not take Justin Fields? I mean, that's surprising.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. Nathan, what were your thoughts on round one?
Well, I mean, let's also look at this, guys. Before I get into my big thing about the draft, I want to add this. If y'all go back and look at Tom Brady's draft when he got drafted and his rookie, and look at Mac Jones, I seen a post saying Belichick has a type. Both guys didn't go big, in the draft per se. I mean, Belichick has a reason he got Mac, and Mac, I mean, it's like Mac said, he's just glad to be placed somewhere. He's just ready for the opportunity. He's not going to be QB1 straight out of the gate. There's a lot to learn, like y'all said, but I mean, there's potential there. Mac Jones, he fits in with the New England Patriots, I believe, because the offense that they run is the same thing Saban ran at Alabama. So it's perfect for him. Now, getting back to the draft, let's not forget of the bunch of reuniting teams, players reuniting with, former players. Jamar Chase going back with Burrow, Tua and Waddle, Jalen and Devontae. I mean, this is big, guys. I mean, and all these teams got I would say a lot of them did great. I think the one that got me going, the Cowboys. I'm not a big Cowboy fan, but Micah Parsons, that was a good pick for the Cowboys. That was big for them. They needed that, and I think he can help out the defensive side. I think the big shocker, the Titans, man. Elijah Moore. I thought Elijah Moore going to the Titans. This is it. This is y'all's pick right here. Put him up with A.J. Brown. But going for Caleb Farley, I'm not saying that wasn't a bad pick. That's a good pick. He's a great corner. But I mean, I think the fact nobody took Elijah Moore first round was big. All right, and that's just it. I mean, that's coming from me. He's a great, he's a great wide receiver. But I think the Titans kind of missed on that one. I was hoping they were going to get him, put him up with A.J. Brown, put him at slot, and work out great with that offense. And Tannehill would have had two good weapons. But and I want to the Steelers got a good running back, and also I forgot to mention this as well. Travis Etienne going with Trevor Lawrence over there in Jacksonville. So Urban Meyer's got a plan with Jacksonville over there, fellas. I mean, and I think we're going to see Jacksonville come out strong this coming season, dude. I really do.
Yeah, I nailed that Najee Harris pick to Pittsburgh, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did. Hey,
They did via a trade. I'll never forget
They
that.
have Dalvin.
Nathan, you're exactly right.
Hey, but I flipped it, and look who ended up taking Najee Harris.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the first round, of course, it was pretty much a given that Trevor Lawrence was going to go one. Nathan, just to piggyback off what you just said about the Jacksonville Jaguars, I completely agree. I think Urban Meyer has got something brewing down there for sure. I mean, look, let's be honest. I mean, NFL talent is still talent. And you add in Trevor Lawrence, you bring in Travis Etienne as well. That Jacksonville team's going to be a team to look out for the next few years. Everybody said it. I'll go ahead and say it again. I think that Dallas Cowboys trade with the Eagles will go back. I mean, I think when you go back and look, that's going to be a massive trade for both teams, both Cowboys and Eagles. I believe Parsons is going to be an absolute beast. In my opinion, he's the best defensive player in this draft, no questions asked. Sideline to sideline, that man is an absolute animal. I saw it live in the Cotton Bowl. Man, just that Devontae Smith to the Eagles, I think is going to turn out to be a huge, huge draft pick for that organization. If you can keep Jalen Hurts upright. Let's be honest. I mean, look at how many times Carson Wentz was on his back last season. If you're the Eagles, you've got to build. You got to build up front in the trenches because that's where the NFL game is won. But yeah, I think when you look at that first round, man, it was exciting. I'm really excited to see what Justin Fields can do with the Chicago Bears. I like Justin Fields. I'm really surprised he dropped as far down as he did. I honestly expected San Francisco to take him, which that was another great story in Nance going to San Francisco. I think that could be a very, very interesting pairing between him and Shanahan for sure.
I want to piggyback on that. I agree. Dallas got a great pick, and so did Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You know, my biggest concern is, well, I'm glad the Cowboys addressed their concern at linebacker because Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith are two great linebackers, but Vander Esch can't stay healthy. So Parsons, I love that move and getting Parsons. And then, you know, it's always a risk when you trade the Heisman winner. But I think it worked out best for both teams. But my biggest concern with Smith is he's a great receiver, and he's kind of small. So you wonder if he can stay healthy. That's my biggest concern. But if that man stays healthy, we might be talking about him down the road breaking records type of thing, you know, having that type of career if he can stay healthy.
Most definitely. And then one more thing, just to finish up my thought on round one is Tua Tagovailoa and now Jalen Waddle are paired back together. I said it Wednesday night during our mock draft. I think Jalen Waddle is the best wide receiver in this entire draft. I don't think there's, in my opinion, there's no other. To me, it's Waddle, Jamar Chase, and then Devontae Smith. And that's taking nothing from Heisman winner Devontae Smith. But I think that pairing could turn out to be very, very interesting for the Miami Dolphins. When you look at the second round, which was last – oh, go ahead.
I have a take on Smith. So, like, people say he's small. He's 6 feet tall. Like, that's the average size for an NFL wide receiver.
I mean, like –
size-wise,
yeah.
So like he's like 170 pounds or 166, something like that. But they're going to bulk him up in the NFL. He's not going to walk around like a toothpick while he's in the NFL. He'll probably get up to 185, 180, something like that. Be a little bit more explosive. But, like, everybody's like, oh, he's too little. I'm like, what? And they're saying the same thing about Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell's 5'11". That's the average size. That's actually on the bigger side for running back in the NFL. I believe the average size for running back in the NFL is 5'9", 5'10". So I just laugh at when people are like, oh, that guy's too small. Look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees is the one of the all-time greats at the quarterback position. He's like 5'8". Look at guys like D'Angelo Williams. D'Angelo Williams had a very successful career in the NFL. He's like 5'9". I mean, size doesn't matter anywhere on the field other than on the D-line and the O-line. I can't express
you make
that
a
enough.
good point. I mean,
like, oh, they're too small.
Yeah,
you're an athlete. You're an athlete.
Yeah, I want to add this.
Right, and he was able to stay healthy in a full season in the SEC. So yeah, I mean, you're right. That you make a good point there. I mean, he could have a great career and stay healthy. You just never know. Which we hope we hope he does. We hope everybody stays healthy. That got drafted. I mean,
and I want to add this as well, guys. I mean, Elijah Moore, he's 5'10", 178. Same reason. They're like, you know, I mean, look what he did in college, dude. You got to look at what these guys did in college. They're coming into the NFL ready to go. I mean, I want to add another quarterback in there, Kyle Murray. Look how short Kyle Murray is. I mean, he's with the things he's doing over there in Arizona. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and Nathan, you actually took what I was going to talk about with the second round was I was really surprised that Elijah Moore fell down to that second round. That really shocked me. The guy is just an absolute animal, extremely talented. I thought the Tennessee Titans were just. I thought that was a shoe-in draft pick for them to take him. But also speaks eyes. Look at Darren Sproles. He's my height, which is not very tall. And he had a hell of a football career, both college and in the professional ranks. But yeah, when you look at the second round, to me, the fact that the Texans last night did take a quarterback surprised me. Like y'all said, it didn't happen in the first round. I thought they got a good quarterback in the young man from Stanford. Anybody that comes out of a David Shaw offense is going to be very cerebral, very smart quarterback for sure. I think the second and third round was, to me, it was very interesting. I loved all the different trades that were being made. I really enjoyed it. Nathan, what about you, man?
I'm sorry. I muted myself. The second round, you're right. I want to add this. Jacksonville went for Tyson Campbell, Georgia cornerback. And don't get me wrong, Campbell's a great DB. I'm not taking anything away from it. It was a good pick for them. So that was a good pick for Jacksonville to come out and go ahead and get a D-back. I was glad to see Landon Dickerson finally get drafted and go to the Eagles, going back to being with Jalen and Devontae over there. He's a great center. Even though he had that injury in the SEC championship game, he's still he's still coming out, and he's a great center. But the second and third second round, it was big. A lot of teams had to get in there and pick a lot of we got, for instance, Kyle Trask got picked. He was late. He was the last pick, but the Buccaneers got him. That's going to be him. He's going to be learning behind Tom Brady, the GOAT, as everyone calls. So that's going to be big for him. Terrence Marshall Jr. going to Carolina to the Panthers. So I think that's a good pick for them. Let's see.
I'd like to expand now.
But looking at the second round, it's Elijah Moore going to the Jets. I think that's a good pick for the Jets. Give Zach Wilson, somebody to throw to. But I want to add this right quick, and I forgot to add this in the when we were talking about the first round. I kind of feel bad right now for Andy Dalton. When he went to the Bears, he said I'm QB1, and then bam, Justin Fields, and it's like, nah, buddy, QB2. So
I think Andy Dalton will still be QB1 to start the season.
Yeah.
I think they're going to kind of let Fields. I think they're going to let Fields get into that position.
Yeah. No,
I agree.
And I agree. And so we got the the second round. It looked good. A lot of tackles. A lot of linemen. A lot of defensive running backs. Javonte Williams to the Broncos. I think I like the pick.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, he's a good running back out of North Carolina. He's a former linebacker and moved to. I see Brandon out there shaking his head. Brandon, I'm gonna give this to Brandon. I'll let Brandon take over because he's a Broncos fan, so I want to get his intake on that.
We did not need to draft a running back in the second round. You could have gotten one later in the draft. We need to address our interior offensive line. And, they did that in round 3 with getting this kid out of, UW Whitewater or something like that. It's like a D3 school. Never even heard of them. But, the Broncos really made me angry by trading up. I don't think Williams is as good as advertised. I think he was great with running back by committee at North Carolina. We have Melvin Gordon and Royce Freeman right now, so there's no need to take a running back at this time, especially with the way Melvin Gordon ended the season. And I think he's still in the middle of his prime. So I don't know I know we got rid of Philip Lindsay in the offseason. He actually signed with the Texans. But, yeah, I just didn't see a reasoning for the Broncos to draft a running back in the second round when you could have got one in the third, fourth, or fifth round. I think it's a bit of a reach by George Payton. But, I mean, I'm in love with the pick that they got with Surtain. So I'll take it. Wins and losses, man.
Yeah. I want to go ahead.
That's right.
Wes, I don't know. Are we going to discuss the third round at all?
We can. I mean, you can just combine the two.
Well, all right. If we're going to combine the two, I'm going to go ahead and say this: Vikings got Kellen Mond, A&M QB. That's a good pick. I like Kellen Mond. He improved a lot last year. Well, I know Wes, but I mean, dude, he's a great quarterback. I know everybody has their doubts about him, but yeah, I see you, Wes. I see you. But I mean, me, he is a good quarterback. I like the Packers got Amari Rodgers. They gave Aaron Rodgers somebody, and then, but yeah, I mean, Kellen Mond going to the Vikings. I know Wes got an intake on it, so that's fine. But I mean, I like he got drafted, man. I'm glad he did. I mean, there's still quarterbacks left on the board. I mean, a good bit of them. And so we'll see what these next couple rounds gets. Maybe quarterbacks get taken off this list right now, but I mean, we still got right now. They're still on the board.
Yeah, we've got a good bit on the board. Look, here's my piece on Kellen Mond, just short and sweet. Is he a good quarterback? Yeah, he's a good quarterback. Do I think he's an NFL quarterback? No, I don't. I don't think this is my Mel Kiper, I guess, whatever. I don't think he's going to work out. I don't think he'll make it. He doesn't have that killer mentality in him that I've seen anyway. And of course, that's a big change coming in with Jimbo Fisher. Don't get me wrong. I understand that's a big, schematically, that's a good change. I just don't feel that. I feel like the better quarterbacks that could have been taken in that position than Kellen Mond. That's just my take. Let me get to Ray real quick.
No, you're good.
Ray, what were your thoughts on round 2 and 3 real quick?
Yeah, so round 2, we did, after we got our wide receiver, we needed to bolster our offensive line to protect our quarterback, because how many times that the quarterback was knocked down and he was sacked, tackled, and all that. We need an offensive line who can keep him upright for most of the game. And I find it interesting that we got a center, Landon Dickerson. Fletcher Cox is a good guy as well, and Jason Kelsey is center. But Landon Dickerson can be center, he can be on the left, he can be on the right. Depends on where the need is at that particular time and at that particular way.
Great point. Yeah.
So I feel with getting
that is a great point.
Landon Dickerson, he's an all-around guy in terms of the offensive line.
Can I say something?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you definitely got. Oh.
Yeah. So it's
sorry, this is kind of random.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ray.
All right. So it's going to be interesting the last few rounds of how we pick, because this year we're working against the salary cap a little bit, so we have to be conservative about it with who we pick.
For sure.
Hi, Brandon.
Yeah.
I just have a random humorous thing. The funniest part of the draft last night was seeing Sean McVay, or might have been first round, seeing Sean McVay in his office at his home in the painting of Roger Goodell behind him. That was hilarious. It's fun to see these NFL guys, these head coaches can just have like a sense of humor And you know what? Sean McVay was like the only guy that we've seen everybody else's war rooms and stuff like that where the GM and the head coach are all in there. Sean McVay was the only guy in his house drafting the guy, which was kind of funny. So it makes me think like, hey, Sean McVay is doing this all by himself, and the Rams are letting him have full control. That's another team we're not talking a lot about. Is the St. or not? Oh my gosh, I almost called them St. Louis Rams. The LA Rams. They just got Matthew Stafford. They have weapons all around them, and I feel like the Rams have had a pretty good draft thus far. Sean McVay's a heck of a football coach, and it's very impressive to see that, and that's why I wanted to bring up the Rams because nobody has really talked about them.
One more thing about Sean McVay is not only is he a great football coach, he is a great evaluator of talent. I feel like if you look at all the talent that's been brought in since he's been there, a la Darrell Henderson and others, it's been very, very, very impressive. Christian, what were your thoughts on round 2 and 3?
Yeah, the Kyle Trask to Tampa Bay is a huge underrated pickup that they were able to get a quarterback in Trask who I believe is a quarterback, and they got a steal there early in the second round, and he's going to be able to learn behind one of the greatest ever. You know, you don't know how long Tom Brady will be there. I would say 2 to 3 more years at the most, but he's going to learn under Brady, and then when he comes to the forefront, I believe he's going to shine at Tampa Bay. And like I said, they got a steal there. There's a lot of people that doubt him, of course, but and he may not make it, but I still think they got a good pick. When you consider that they have Brady right now, no, he won't play much longer, but that's 2 to 3 years down the road. They could potentially draft another quarterback, which you'd hope they don't do that. But you know, best case scenario, Trask works out. And Nathan made up a good point with Kellen Mond to the Vikings. I believe he has all the physical attributes to be a good quarterback, but like Wes said, mentally, he's gonna. You would think he would toughen up in the NFL. You kind of have to, but Wes is right. He didn't show a killer instinct in college. Now that could change in the NFL, but I wasn't overly impressed with him earlier in his career. But his senior season, he showed some things that I didn't know he had. So that's my take on it.
Brandon, what about you, man?
About Kellen Mond?
No. Just second, third round, or Kellen Mond, all 3.
Oh, I thought the second round was really good.
He went pretty in depth.
The Jets once again got a steal with Elijah Moore. They gave Zach Wilson a weapon at the receiver position. I thought it was kind of random that they drafted him. I mean, he was the best receiver available. My biggest surprise was Terrence Marshall Jr. falling as far as he did. A lot of people had him as a first-round pick out of LSU, and he fell super far late in the draft. Yeah, the Kellen Mond thing was a little weird because I didn't expect him to go until the 4th or 5th round. I didn't expect him to get drafted until today. And I saw RG3 kind of trolling Kirk Cousins a little bit on Twitter last night when they picked him. Really? And I think there's some animosity there because Kirk Cousins took RG3's job when they were both in Washington after RG3 had gotten hurt. Yeah. But, yeah, you're talking about killer instinct. The kid played in the SEC. And Texas A&M is one of the hardest places to play because there's such a high standard of football there. You're supposed to be the best team in Texas every single year to their fans in and out. So I don't think it's fair to base him on having a killer instinct, especially if you're playing against LSU and Alabama and those teams in the SEC West every single year. Not including Arkansas because they're dog water. But I'm just kidding, Christian. No, but like
They were
I
with
think
Chad
it's
Morris.
unfair.
I will give you that. They were dog water.
No, I think it's unfair to base Kellen Mond's just like intangibles just off of his killer instinct. The kid is a stud quarterback. He's going to be good. Now, is he the future of the Vikings? We don't know. But the Vikings might think so just because they moved up to get him. Or they reached, I feel like, to get him. But no, I thought the second and third round. The other thing I wanted to point out is these picks are coming in pretty quick this year. I feel like the draft is kind of flying by.
They are.
Usually it feels like it takes forever.
It
Like
is.
today, now that I say that, today is going to take forever. But yeah, and the atmosphere, it's really good. And I don't want to get into COVID with this, but it's really good to see fans there and participating and stuff.
Yeah.
And everything like that. It's really nice to kind of get away from that COVID break because these fans, a lot of them weren't able to support their teams this year, and I've seen thousands of people on TV to be able to be out there and support their teams through this draft, which is really nice to see as well. But yeah, I think it's gone pretty smoothly the last 2 days. Second and third round was definitely interesting. A lot of players went places where I didn't think they would go. That linebacker, Jeremiah Owusu Kamar or whatever his name is, from Notre Dame, he fell super far.
You actually nailed that. Good job.
Yeah, it's a hard name to say. No, he fell all the way to the Browns in the second round, which I was like, what? And the Browns defense just got better. Which that's another team that everybody's sleeping on. The Cleveland Browns, they're doing this draft at home. And these fans, every time you see them up there, they're getting rowdy, which it's exciting because the Browns have been so bad for so long, and they made the playoffs this last year. It's just all around fun, man. I'm just so ready for NFL season.
It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Let's also one more thing when it comes to the NFL draft. I don't know if y'all caught it last night, but the Giants were getting ready to make a pick. And they zoomed in on this fan, and he was like this. And then they made the pick, and he immediately went and was like livid. Man, that was just – I told my wife last night, I said, that is why you watch the NFL draft right there, is for the just raw emotion of the fans when the pick is made. And I loved last night how there was some players picked that you could tell some of these fans had no clue who they were. And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, y'all have no idea who that is. It's
because they don't keep up with football.
Exactly, Nathan. They're just sitting there clapping like, yeah, okay.
Well, look.
Speaking of excitement, go ahead, Nathan.
Look, I just want to add this. If you go back and fans, y'all go to ESPN, the NFL draft, and see the best available. I just want to add a few names here, okay? They're still out there on the board. Kenneth Gainwell, he's out there for University of Memphis. Raheem Boyd, Arkansas, still on the board.
Arkansas,
you got over in the the QB. I want to just go ahead and throw this. Here's the QBs that are left on the board: Jamie Newman, Georgia; Ian Brook, Notre Dame; Felipe Franks, Arkansas; Sam Ellinger, Texas; Shane Bulashi for SMU; Zach Smith, Tulsa; and KJ Costello for Mississippi State. So I mean, the QBs are there for
Brady White.
Well, they don't have Brady White on the board. So
that's because ESPN has no clue what they're talking about.
That's a great point, Nathan. Speaking of Nathan and Brandon, let's talk a little bit of MLB. Talk a little bit about these division races. Brandon, I'll start with you, and I'm sure Nathan will want to chime in too, since I'm talking about the division that y'all's beloved St. Louis Cardinals are in. Brandon, let's talk a little bit about the NL Central right now.
Well,
What's not?
Christian's probably shaking his head right now because his Cubs are struggling. But boys and girls, the
they're
St. Louis
terrible.
Cardinals are getting hot.
They're terrible.
The Cardinals are getting hot right now. Matt Carpenter's
I still
finally
like the
hitting the
Brewers in
ball.
our division.
The Cubs are at the bottom of the division, which is just the most beautiful thing you could ever see, with an 11-15 record. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's been great. The Brewers aren't going to sit there because they don't have the talent to keep up in the division. The one surprising part about the NL Central is the Pirates are 12-13. The Cardinals did beat them last night, and they got the series continuing today. But man, just seeing the Cubs as bad as they are just makes me so happy. And the Cardinals are getting hot right now. Good pitching. We're hitting Bryce Harper.
Have you not seen them bad enough in your life? Have you not seen them bad enough in your life? They deserve some notoriety here. But you're right. They're bad this year. And I know it's early. It is early, but what I've seen, it looks like they're just lethargic. They don't want to be there. I don't know. They can't hit good pitchers. Like, they got all the talent. As a non Cubs fan, I think if you look at the Cubs roster, you can make a case that they have the best roster in the NL Central, but it's not being put to the test. I mean, maybe these guys are, like I said, lethargic, or they've just fizzled out. But man, to see such a young team that won a World Series together, see them not be able to, do much after, it's a disgrace, really. Because I mean, like I said, you got Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez, Contreras right there. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Well,
they were a huge part in that World Series run.
Yeah, they were.
In that win. It's like now they're nothing. I mean, I hate to say they're nothing, but they're playing bad. They're playing very down to their potential. I don't know if that's David Ross being I don't know if that's turning out not to be a great decision. I think we should have kept Joe Madden now that I think it back. But
that's strike one. You hired a former player as your manager who had never managed at any level in his life or been in a front office, and you hired him based solely because he was popular with the fans and because of his name. That's strike one right there. Strike two is it's so hard. It's so hard to win. Like, if you win a World Series, it's so hard to continue that momentum in the following years. And it's hard to keep that team around. I mean, if you look at it, I think Schwarber's in D.C. now with the Nationals. And the only people that are still there are Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, and Hayward. Those are the only guys that are still on your team that are from that World Series championship.
Right.
Now I just want to say this real quick. I'm sorry, Chris.
And the pitching was a lot better.
Well, I'm sorry. All I heard was blah blah blah. We're not that good. Blah blah blah. We're young and not good. Blah blah blah.
That's basically the gist of it.
We won a World Series. Blah blah blah. So long ago. Let's get back to the Cardinals. I mean, look, Cardinals are on a hot streak. I agree with Brandon.
They're only 5 games back. Don't act like they're like 30 games back. They're only 5. I mean, now it is early in the season, but hey, I agree. They're just not. They're not very good right now. I mean, I get it.
The White Sox, they're playing down to what the White Sox are turning it on a little bit. I'll give you that.
We can just jump over to the American League Central real quick.
Let's just say what everybody wants to hear.
Go ahead,
Chicago, the White Sox are better than the Cubs in Chicago. So, I mean,
no, but they're not. Yes, I'll give you that. They've had more success, but the Cubs are the popular team in Chicago. I promise you.
Yes.
When
it comes to the city of Chicago, the Cubs are way more popular. Cubs and Bulls are way more popular, I think, than the White Sox. I mean, the Sox have their own core group of fans,
Yeah, sure.
obviously, that everybody does. But when you look at the American League Central, right now, Kansas City sitting at 15-9. The White Sox are sitting in second place, 14-11, only a game and a half back. It's early. I mean, if you're the Detroit Tigers, and you're sitting at 8-19, I would probably be a little bit concerned. But I mean, when you look at all these, I mean, when you look at this baseball season, talk a little bit about some interesting divisions.
Well, the NL East, for example, right now all teams at 500 are below 500, and guess who's number one right now? The Phillies at 13-13. So I'm sure anything could happen. They look like the NFC East this past year right now, so anything could happen.
Yeah, the NFC East and the NL Central
Yeah.
are not tearing it up. Let's just say that
They're definitely not tearing it up. Sure. I mean, just looking all across Major League Baseball, this season's been exciting. I mean, like you said, Ray, even in that division where everybody's under 100, it's still exciting baseball to be played. When you look at the NL Central, AL Central as well, I mean, AL East, NL East or West, I'm sorry. There's exciting baseball all around the country right now. That Los Angeles Dodgers San Diego Padres series was just awesome to watch. I mean, it's just pure intensity the whole way through.
Jeez, man, he's a baller.
He is a baller for sure. Yeah, when you look at all across the country, it's very exciting to watch. Give me and I'll go just around the horn here per se, not to steal that name show. But Nathan, give me some teams that you think are not playing well right now that we may want to keep our eye on.
Well, I mean, I will say this, and this ain't a team that I'm saying keep your eye on. They're going to turn around, but man, the Yankees, dude, they're falling right now. I mean, but let's look at it this way: Boston Red Sox on a hot streak right now. 17-10. They leading the AL East right now. Right behind them is the Toronto Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays might come around and start playing some ball a little bit harder. But I want to go ahead and I want to go ahead and throw this out there. The San Francisco Giants. If anybody caught them at the beginning of the season, they weren't doing so hot. They turned the team around. Now they're leading the division. So I mean, some teams. I mean, if we're going like what division is is getting a lot of attention, I'll go NL West. All right, if you look over there at the NL West, that's getting a lot of attention. A lot of great teams over there. I mean, it's like Wes was talking about that Padres game, dude. That was fun to watch. I mean, if you're a baseball fan, that's the series that you love to watch. I mean, I love baseball myself.
Right.
And I also want to add this. I mean, the Cardinals, dude. I mean, yeah, we're coming back. We'll finally hit all right. But I want to take this off of Wes. The season's still going, guys. It's still the beginning in a way. I know it's MLB baseball. It's a long season, buddy. I think we're going to see a lot of teams come back. I think the Braves are going to pull a hot streak soon. They always somehow do. So shout out to the Brave fans out there. I feel like it's coming. Y'all just be patient with them.
And to talk about that, I don't think the Cubs will finish last.
No, I don't either.
But I don't feel confident that they can win the division. No, for sure. Right now.
But
yeah, I mean this whole MLB. I mean, like you just said, Nathan, it's going to be a long season. I mean, this isn't a 60-game sprint this year. It's a full-fledged, all hands-on-deck season. It's going to be very exciting to see. And like you said, Nathan, there's teams that are going to get hot. Teams do it every year. I expect the Yankees to get hot at some point in time this year. I expect the White Sox to get hot again. And and other teams like the Braves as well. And I mean, I think the Cubs can get on
They can.
a streak, and get hot. Yeah, it's this MLB season is just really exciting. I mean, right now, like we've talked about today, we've had the NFL draft, which is still going on today, beginning at 11 o'clock, probably running through about 7 o'clock tonight. Rounds 4 through 7 are you're going to see a lot of guys taken, and I'm very excited for all those young men that are being taken to fulfill that dream to play in the NFL. You've had great MLB. One more thing, guys, before we get off here. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., we will have a guy by the name of T.J. Hendrickson. If anybody is fans of the old NCAA football 14 or NCAA football video game, T.J. Hendrickson has gone in and he is playing the old NCAA 14 game on PlayStation 3. PS2. He is going in and creating storylines to revive this video game. And he has now got this video game completely worldwide again, gone in and created whole new storylines. He's put them online, man. This guy's going to be awesome tomorrow.
I want to give that man a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was my growing up. It was NCAA.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think about playing Madden when I growing up.
No.
I was just NCAA all the time, and then all of a sudden, bam, stopped.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I didn't know why,
But wait,
and then I found out why, and it.
I
Go
want to real quick. Wes, you can agree with me on this. We talk about NCAA 14, but let's not forget when they finally came out with NCAA baseball. Dude, when they came out with that was the best thing they ever did.
I need to come back with that too.
Here's the thing, man. This guy doesn't do just NCAA football. Like, he gets into the MLB The Show. He gets into NCAA MVP baseball, NCAA basketball. I mean, it's all these college games. He's going in and creating players, creating storylines, creating coaches. Michael Vick was a head coach. I mean, I don't want to ruin it for tomorrow, but he created Michael Vick as a head coach, had Hennessy as one of his sponsors.
And he gets paid for this.
No, I don't know. I mean,
Wow.
that's what I'm saying.
That's a lot to do.
I've got
not
questions.
not get paid for, but
So many questions for this guy tomorrow. But tomorrow, 2 p.m. on the show, we will have T.J. Hendrickson on joining us. But thank you to all of our fans today. Once again, Nathan Wilson, Brandon Bumgarner, who was on here just a few minutes ago. Thank you to everybody watching. We appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great evening from the 4 Star Sports Show. Thank you.